Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. My name is Nogo Bashan, and on behalf of this great event, may I welcome you to my presentation. This afternoon, I'd like to begin by presenting you an initiative I'm building between United States, Israel, and India, and then I'll go on to presenting you some kind of new technology that we're developing in the United States, and I will explain to you why this technology is awesome, and why it is better than what currently exists, and why my team is the right team to pursue it. Okay, ready? Let's get started. Next. What I'd like us all to do is ask ourselves the following question. What is our most valuable commodity? Next. The answer is time. Time is the greatest asset available to human being and the cheapest. In particular, a lot of time of scientists is wasted on bureaucracy and on teaching in courses. How many people here this afternoon would like to save wasted time and to reduce unnecessary bureaucracy? Just about everybody, right? Next, please. To overcome this problem, we found a new private scientific research institute in Alabama, United States, and the fact that this is a private research institute gives us several advantages, such as there is no bureaucracy, so it saves the time of our people. There is no thick layers of management. We are only 3 members of the family, and so it saves the energy of our people, and we can also choose to take A-talent people. So time, talent, and energy is the most valuable asset for us. The institute is suitable for about 30 people. Our manpower is a postdoctoral fellow and high-skilled trainings. Next, please. So this is the institute from inside, and we also have 3 research laboratories focused on ecology and environmental science, and there is more to it than that. The fact that we are small, it gives us, first of all, quickness, and just to make the job done, and we're very, very innovative. And I'm going to talk about a specific technology today, and I'm not looking to conquer the world, just the 3 of us. I'm very much looking to connect to the big and giant organization, because we have the advantages of very innovative and very quick in doing things. And the other giant big organization, we want to use their system. So I think the combination will be very good. Next. So what I'm going to do is talk about the background to our project. The research facility of the Database Institute is the Bashan Foundation. Bashan Foundation was founded in 1999 and is registered with the state of Oregon since 2003. Bashan Institute of Science is a physical research institute and is registered with the state of Alabama since 2014. And our institute in the United States is based on the knowledge and on the science that was created in the Bashan Foundation. Next. So among our studies are plant-bacteria interaction that I'm going to focus today. And among these, we have also restoration of degraded soil and improved soil fertility, wastewater treatment and recycling of water, restoration of entire mangrove ecosystems, reforestation and environmental restoration, stabilization of mine tailing. Next. Basically, what we do prefer is to tailor-made formulation, to give tailor-made solutions, and our strategy will be tailored to the characteristics of each market. Next. So, till now, I presented you a research institute in the United States, and now I'm going to talk about an enterprise I'm building between Israel and India. So, in the last 2 years, I was going back and forth to India to have a mastermind and a brainstorm meeting with the best of the best partners I could find in India. And what we're going to do is we are going to develop our technology in our institute in the United States. We will develop new intellectual property, and we will bring it into the Israeli and the Indian market. And we're exactly on the stage that we are about to execute it. All right, next. Okay, so it was important for me to present you my team, because with this team, I'm going to solve a major problem. And I wanted to present to you the problem, and then I will talk about the solution. So the situation is that the global population is growing rapidly than ever, and is estimated to reach to 10 billion by 2050. The world will need to produce 70% more food, and human needs more healthy and safe food to eat to stay healthy. So I'm going to focus on the next 2 points, which is today, in order to enhance the crop productivity, they use chemical fertilizers. Now, what is the problem with the chemical fertilizer? The problem is that this is dangerous for health, and it is also very expensive. So what is the alternative? The alternative is the biofertilizer, the bioproduct, but what currently exists in the market is not efficient enough, and I want to present you our technology that I'm going to bring into this world, which is extremely efficient. Next, please. Yeah. So what is the situation in India? Because I'm talking about the Indian market. So India is facing its worst water crisis in generation, and the population is about to reach to 1.7 billion in 2050. The pollution is unbelievable in water, soil, and air. Urbanization is taking place at faster rate in India, and this creates a growing consumer market. And today, consumers are very much aware to what they put inside their body, and they ask for safe food. Next. So our solution is this, and I'm going to explain this step by step. So formulation for inoculants of plant growth promoting bacteria, which is PGPB. So formulation refers to laboratory or industrial process of unifying a beneficial bacteria with a carrier. Now, did you know, before I go on, previous, inoculants refer to the final product, and PGPB, I just said that this is plant growth promoting bacteria. Now, before we move on to the next slide, did you know that legumes consist only 20% of the crops, while cereals such as wheat, rice, and corn consist 80% of the crops? Now, these plant growth promoting bacteria are absolutely beneficial for the 80% of the crops. So there are two predominant factors which determine if the inoculation are efficient. First of all, the effectiveness of the bacteria isolated, and second, the technology of application. So allow me to start this topic by saying that in theory, there's always a market for quality. But in practice, people want low prices, and above all, farmers always seek maximum yield for their crops. We will develop high-quality, profitable products for the industry, and I will talk about this technology until the end of my presentation. What we see here is the isolated bacteria in the middle. This is Azospirillum. This is bacteria that lives inside the ground, and on the left, we see the carrier. We put the bacteria inside the carrier, which protect the bacteria, and then we put it on the plant as the biological fertilizer. And what you see here is plants in soil with low fertility, and they grow beautifully. Next. So it's a well-known fact that inoculant formulation are totally essential for successful inoculation with plant growth promoting bacteria. So formulation is a mixture consisting bacteria or fungi with inert material. The inert material can be just about anything, such as plastic, as long as the material is not alive, because we want to isolate the bacteria and to protect it. The goal of every PGPB research is to improve the performance of the plant. Every research. After all, there is no better reason than this, because if we just take the beneficial bacteria and put it just like this on the plant or on the soil, there is immense competition in the soil, and other bacteria will probably beat them, and our bacteria will not reach to the plant. Therefore, next, the formulation is the crucial issue for inoculants. So the bacteria, the isolated bacteria, is in intellectual property, IP. And the formulation, the process which we protect the bacteria, is second intellectual property, IP. And together it is a market product. What we see here is an example. This is took in the desert of Mexico. And we see here in 2004, they just put the seeds with the inoculants. 2 years later, there is little trees, and 5 years later, there is a little forest. And what it did here is restoration of aerated soil, as I said, in the desert of Mexico. Next, please. So instead of using extremely expensive fertilizer, PGP-B are being used to raise the productivity of the plant and to reduce costs. Now, what we see here is that in A, there is cactus without anything. On C, we see cactus fertilized with the chemical fertilizers. And what I said in the beginning is that the problem today, that there is no biofertilizer that is efficient. And what we see in B is our biofertilizer. And you can decide yourself if it is efficient or not. Next. All right. So what we're looking is at polymeric inoculant. Yeah. And we choose alginate. Alginate is most common, and I like to draw your attention about a few interesting details about this alginate. So alginate is made from brown algae that grows inside of cold ocean, and it exists in the world in endless amount. It exists in the world in endless amount as the algae is growing all the time, unlike gasoline, for example, that eventually might end. So they use in alginate, also in ice cream to stabilize the ice cream. Also, dentists use this material to make teeth frame. And they use the expensive part. We use the cheap part, and the cost today, sorry, is only $2 for 1 kilogram. And for 1 kilogram, we can produce big amounts of inoculants. And I'm sure the implications of this are clear to all of us. But there is more to it than that. There are macrobid, which are 2 to 4 millimeter, and there are also microbid, which is around 100 micron. So let's talk about the main advantages of alginate inoculant. This is, again, the protection of the bacteria. The bacteria is inside. So first of all, control slow release of bacteria into the soil. And this is the most important characteristic, because the customer can decide whether he wants slow release of bacteria or faster according to his needs. So, for example, for growing trees, we will create slow release of bacteria over time that will be beneficial for the plant. And then good degradation into the soil. The alginate is polysaccharide, so when we put it on the soil, other bacteria eat it. And when they eat it, you will see later a picture how it works. They eat it, and then our bacteria release. So after several weeks, nothing left from the inoculant. This is just water and soil, nothing left. So good degradation into the soil. Non-toxic. The industry demands that it will be non-toxic. The FDA requests test of $10 million. But the alginate passed all tests long time ago. I just told you they use it in the ice cream, in the food industry, the dentists use it, so it's fine. Easy to use by the grower, very important. And cost effective, as I mentioned, costs today are $2 for 1 kilogram, and in the past it was expensive. But today cost reduced, and this is the reason why we want to bring it into this world. Now it's possible to do it. Click. And what is the main challenge? Well, so far, no industrial process. And the reason that it does not exist is because there was no demand for this. But now there is a demand, and now this is the perfect time to take it into this world, into the market. Next. All right. So what we're looking at is a picture of the alginate, and inside there is the bacteria. Now, This is the first generation. It was taken in 1986, and this is the macrobid. There is also microbid, but this is the solution I'm gonna bring to the market. In 1 minute I will talk about it. Next. What we see here is alginate, that on the surface there are the bacteria, and the reason why they grow on the surface is because the conditions are optimal, it is wet. Next. And what we see here is interesting. We look in a previous slide, the alginate. Now, when you take the bead, the inoculant, and cut it into half, this is how it looks from inside. It looks like cabbage. There are many, many layers. Now, if you look at one layer, next please, this is enlargement, and you see that every bulge is a colony of the beneficial bacteria. And every layer from previous slide looks just like that. Next. All right. So, how does slow release of azisperillum is the beneficial bacteria, I remind you, from dry alginate inoculant works? So what happens is that we saw that there are many layers. Now, we put it on the soil, and the bacteria start to eat the alginate, and what happens is that our bacteria release. Next. Now, one layer disappeared, and now there is another layer. Again, the bacteria in the soil eat it, and then our bacteria release into the plant. Next. And so on and so forth, the process continues until it ends. Yeah, okay, what we see here is a picture of alginate inoculant immediately after sowing of wheat. 3 minutes? Okay, so because I don't have time, okay, I will talk about this slide and one more slide, and that's it. So there is the macrobeads. What happens is that they land few centimeters or few millimeters to the seed. And what happens is that the bacteria need to migrate into the soil, facing a huge competition until they reach to the seed. Also, there is additional cost for the grower to do. So our solution, just to end this, because my presentation is actually longer, is maybe next, is this, previous, is this. What we suggest to bring into this world is the microbid concept. What we will do is that we will sell some kind of improved seed. We will attach the microbid, the older generation is macrobid, into the seeds, and then the bacteria just release into the seed, and we also save costs. Now, if you go next. So our message is to enhance crop productivity in novel environmental friendly solution, efficient and cost-effective technology. Now next. You know, previous, this take just a few seconds, previous. So the market of this is a growing market of 12% per year, and the Asia Pacific region is growing at the fastest rate. Next. The model of making money is we are creating a prototype in United States, and we will sell this product over and over at ever decreasing margin for win-win efficiency, and we will receive royalties from the sales. Now next. Next, as I don't have time. So I told you very in short about initiative I do between Israel, India, and United States, and a little bit about the technology. And I think that this initiative can match perfect also with the African countries, and I really want to take this hand and also to implement it together with you with the African countries. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Israel. Thank you for coming. I've been working in Africa now for 19 years. What I do now for the past 10 years, I bring Israeli innovation from solar technologies, water technologies, agricultural technologies to remote African villages. I was born in Israel, but I truly spend most of my time in your beautiful continent. We're going to start with a short video so you can see what we are doing. And where we operate, we are now operating in 7 African countries. And I know that some of you are from Tanzania, right? Uganda, anyone? Congo? Senegal? Cameroon? We're gonna find it. Okay, let's start with the video.
Innovation Africa was funded 9 years ago with a very simple mission, which is to bring Israeli solar technologies to transform schools, medical centers, and most importantly, to pump water. We are operating in 7 African countries, and we have so far installed solar technology in over 100 villages. The reason why Africa is still in poverty is because of the lack of energy. Because there is no energy, people are still searching for water because there is no energy to pump water. People do not have access to vaccines and medicines because there is no electricity in medical centers. And because there is no energy, people cannot get good education. And yet, when you look at the sun, there is so much energy, so much potential. And if we could just harness the energy from the sun, we can change it. We've been using solar energy since the creation of Israel. Almost on every building, there are solar panels. And what we are doing at Innovation Africa, it's simply by bringing the same technologies, simple technologies, to make a change here in the villages.
Are you ready to have clean water?
Thank you for having come from Israel to take us away from the wickedness.
Thank you very much for the clean water.
Innovation Africa naye balukubanga etuleetera ebintu otinyeeri.
Because today Israel is a strong country, because of everything that has been invented, I feel it's our responsibility to help.
Are you ready? Yes! 1, 2, 3, go!
Thank you. As I said earlier, we are now operating in 7 African countries. We by now installed solar energy in 150 villages. And like you could see in the movie, the work that we are doing is quite simple. We simply provide solar energy, and using a drilling machine, we're able to pump water from aquifers. And as you know, the changes in the lives of people, the impact touches people, healthcare, education, gender equality, economic growth. I mean, for a small investment, and only with a few solar panels, we're able to impact tremendously the lives of people. How many of you have worked with solar energy before? You did. So let me tell you how much it costs. For the installation of a very large solar water pumping system, which include the drilling, the tank, about 15 taps that we installed throughout the village, and where we can reach up to 4 kilometers, meaning from one pump, $50,000 is the entire cost. One pump, a few solar panels, and we're able to bring water 4 kilometers this way, 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, about 12 to 15 taps for a one-time cost, and to install solar energy on a school, including the homes of the teachers. The most is about $20,000, and this is a one-time cost. So today we're going to continue one village after the other. Recently we were engaged by UNICEF, and now we are working in Cameroon, helping the refugees from Central African Republic. Anyone from Central African Republic? No? And let me now go ahead with another short video, because recently the Prime Minister of Uganda, anyone from Uganda? Prime Minister of Uganda called us and said, can you please come and help us? In the north of Uganda, there is famine, there is drought. I said, you know what, let me go. I went, but you're gonna see in the movie, I'm quite panicked, because after 19 years, I've never seen anything like it. And I want you to see, and I'm sure that many of you are aware of it, or may even worked in some of those regions, where 37 people died the day I arrived from starvation. You're gonna see the people, the children that were still alive, we found them on the trees, eating leaves. The elders, they were put aside, right? And the adults, our age, were having to drink blood to survive. So we came with a drilling machine, we drilled from water. But then I realized I made a mistake. Water was not enough, because it's gonna take about 3 months to grow food. Is that true? If we truly want to make an impact, you need immediately to also deliver food. And so we started, since February, we've been dealing with the logistic of bringing food, maize, flowers, and beans to those villages. But who gave us the money? And this is why I wanted to thank you, the Christians. Christians from America, they are the one I called, and they said, let us help. Because most of the people where we work are Christians who are in need. And unfortunately, if we're not coming on time, unfortunately, sometimes, and I've seen it now for the past 4 or 5 years, they are converting out of desperations, because I see more and more mosques that are being built. Is that true? Money coming from Kuwait, Qatar, Arabia Saudite, and I'm sure they have good intention. But because people are thirsty and because people are not empowered, out of desperation they are converting, right? So in order to keep them in the faith, I think for us, the sooner we can get to the village, the sooner we can pump water. With a very little investment, we're able to empower so many people. So let's watch this movie. It's a bit difficult. That's actually the movie when we did the first video. You're gonna see some of the same images. And if we can turn on the light, it will be great. If not, it's okay.
This is some of the communities which I want you to see. And you see how these people, how they are being affected with famine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Joka.
Thank you for allowing us to come. Hi, good morning.
That 3 days, some of them have not had food.
What do they eat now? What do they have? They eat the leaves of the trees right now?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, Charles. It's not human. Because of anger, she tied her stomach.
Yeah, for them, that's what they eat.
Get us corn, get us beans. Is that okay? And find out where's the water. God bless her. Please tell them that we're going to come back. That we're going to come back to pump water.
So I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here. And I'm actually going to be speaking to the Secretary General of the United Nations this afternoon with our Prime Minister Bibi. So this is why I look so beautiful. And please wish me good luck for today.
Good luck, Sivan, and we appreciate the work that you do, and I hope that we will have a few partners to engage with you. I want to then move to the last presentation so that we can then take some questions quickly. I want to invite then Yanai Arfi from Holy Places TV to come and give a pitch on their work. Yanai.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the Holy City of Jerusalem. Okay, my name is Yanai Harfi. I'm producing documentaries in 4K and virtual reality of the Christian holy places in Israel, the Holy Land. 2 years ago, always looking for innovation, I decided to produce virtual reality movies in 360 degrees. After several projects in different domains, such as cinema, cars racing, and some events, I decided to do something special and unique to film the holy places from the Holy Land in 360 degrees. What could be easier? I'm living in the Holy Land. Okay, so I decided to mix antiquity and new technology by filming holy places in virtual reality in 360 degrees. For an immersive experience, 360 video can be watched on cell phone with a VR headset. For pilgrims and others interested in discovering the holy places, we want to provide a new experience. Indeed, it will be like to walk around and follow the path of Jesus in the Holy Land, almost as you were actually there. But virtual realities movies were not enough for our small team, based in Israel, made up of many nationalities and religions, wanted something more. So we decided to create a TV documentary series focusing on the Christian holy places around the world and starting within the Holy Land. In an age of curiosity about the origin of civilization and the growth of religion devotion, we wanted to share with viewers the emotion you can feel when you see monument created by man more than 2,000 years ago. This documentary series is the result of a desire to show the world the Christian holy places in Israel, the cradle of world monotheistic religion, and we have created images that will take your breath away. Now we see the video.
Walk the Via Dolorosa and the 14 Stations of the Cross. Holy Places TV takes you in Jerusalem for a walk in Via Dolorosa. Today you will follow Via Dolorosa and the 14 Stations of the Cross. The Via Dolorosa, also called Way of Sorrow or the Way of the Cross, winds along a narrow street of Jerusalem's Old City. Via Dolorosa leads from the Ecce Homo convent to the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre. This is the traditional route Jesus followed, carrying his cross from Pilate's judgment hall in the Antonia to Calvary Hill or Golgotha, the site of the crucifixion. Along this route are the 14 Stations of the Cross. Each station marks an event of sacred memory, with chapels for reflection, convents, and monasteries of devotion. and the sacred basilica for commemoration. Our tour starts with the Door of the Lions. It is one of 7 open doors in the walls of the Old City and the only one that faces east. The door was built in the 16th century by Suleiman the Magnificent. 2 lions are located on either side of the door. As a result of a dream, Sultan Suleiman appeared. 2 lions wanted to devour him by punishment for the sacred city of Jerusalem, who was not protected. The Sultan therefore ordered the city to be surrounded by walls of protection. Others think that these lions date from the sovereign Mameluke Babalard. The journey continues with the Church of St. Anne. The place is recognized to be the home of Anne and Joachim, the Virgin Mary's parents. It was entrusted to the White Fathers in the 19th century. Inside, we have a statue of Anne and her daughter, Mary. On the right, we have stairs leading to a small crypt dedicated to the birth of Mary. We continue with an impressive archaeological site, the Bethesda Basins. At the time of the Second Temple are built 2 reservoirs of water. It is here that Jesus would have cured the lame. The Romans then built other baths dedicated to Asclepius. It was around the 5th century that a Byzantine basilica was dedicated to Mary and the miracle of Bethesda, but it was destroyed. On its ruins, a chapel was built commemorating the miracle of Bethesda and its church. Arriving at the first station, we observe the Roman numeral 1 at the site of the Muslim primary school Al-Amaria. At the time of Jesus, it was the fortress of Antonia. Just here, Jesus was condemned by Pontius Pilate to carry his cross in order to be crucified. We can observe from its windows the Dome of the Rock. In front of this school, we have the second station. 2 churches mark it, the Church of Flogging and the Church of Condemnation. Jesus was struck by Pontius Pilate, crowned with a crown of thorns and a humiliating red cape, and then flagellated by the Roman soldiers. Before entering the third station, we have a monastery of the Orthodox Patriarch. Inside is the prison of the Christ. We observe the bars of his cell. Nearby, still on Via Dolorosa, we have the Ecce Homo Monastery, whose entrance is represented by an arch. It is here that Pontius Pilate condemned Jesus before the people. The third station is marked by the first fall of Jesus. Overwhelmed by the weight and massive size of the cross, it collapses for the first time during its painful journey. An Armenian Catholic chapel also marks this station. Nearby, at the fourth station of the cross, is located a little Armenia Catholic chapel. Jesus, who is suffering because of the weight of the cross he carries on his back, would have met Mary, his mother. In the basement of the church, by taking a flight of stairs, stands a statue of Mary that accompanies her son Jesus. A Franciscan oratory marks the fifth station. Here, this small chapel marks the place where Jesus was helped by Simon of Cyrene to carry his cross. A stone thrust into the wall represents the mark of Jesus' hand as he passed. The sixth station is marked by the Church of St. Veronica. Jesus meets Veronica, who, with the aid of a veil, wiped his face on which the features of his face would have been impressed. At the seventh station, Jesus falls for the second time, exhausted by the heavy weight of the cross he carries. A great Roman column, housed in a Franciscan chapel, marks Jesus' second fall. At the eighth station, a cross is carved on the wall of the Greek Orthodox monastery of St. Charalampos. It is written in Greek, Jesus Christ Triumphant. Station 9, Jesus falls for the third and last time. Close to a Coptic church, this station is marked by a cross placed on a plunder. Close by are the apse and roof of the Holy Sepulchre Basilica, a reminder that Jesus collapsed within sight of the place of his crucifixion.
Okay, to that we have produced 52 episodes, 27 minutes long each. All is in stunning 4K, focusing on Christian holy places in Israel. Whether in Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Nazareth, or Tiberia, Akko, Caesarea, we present basilicas, churches, monasteries, as well as archaeological ruins and excavation, all linked to the life of Jesus. This place filmed in 4K and in VR 360 degrees has a perfect match. By creating new type of content, we will expand the audience of viewer by attracting a new generation of young people and use new form of communication to transmit the message of religious devotion. Our goal is to find partnership with TV channel and cable TV. By the way, next October, after MIPCOM in Cannes, the leading trade show in Europe for content and TV program, we will exhibit at Discop from 25th to 27 October in Johannesburg, and we invite you to come to visit us and discover our new TV series. Thank you.